is something that I get asked about often. Because I'm always talking about protein. You need more protein, you need more protein. They're like, why? I don't understand why I need more protein. And the most common answer that I give to people is it's to help you to build muscle. But that's not the only reason that you should be eating protein. And that's what I want to talk about today. So you're not just like, well, I know it's supposed to help me with muscle building, but what else does it do? Because there's so many different reasons that you should be eating more protein. Hello, ladies. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Christy. Hey, Summerlin. Great to see you here. So I'm also going to share how to get more protein because that is the next question, right? It's always like, okay, you told me to eat more protein, but how do I get more protein? Because I feel like that's the struggle for most women, at least the ones that I've worked with. For some reason, I have no problem hitting 160 to 180 grams of protein. It actually comes easy, but it takes practice, right? You have to learn. You have to figure out what that looks like and how your body feels by eating that more. Because if you just start eating a lot of protein, your body might have some issues, so we want to make sure that we address those as well. So first, let's just go back to talking about why it's important. Like, why do you need protein? As we enter perimenopause and menopause, our bodies undergo a lot of changes, right? I've talked about this time and time again. And that is why adding more protein is important. With the dropping levels of hormones, we are losing muscle mass. And after age 40, muscle mass can decline up to 8% every 10 years. So that means that by the time you are 50, women may lose up to 8% of their muscle mass. By the age 60, postmenopausal women may lose up to 16% of their muscle mass. And you might be thinking, okay, but why do I need more muscle? Well, when we lose muscle, it increases visceral fat. That's the fat that's located deep inside your body. It surrounds your organs like your stomach, your liver, your intestines, and kidneys. That is where we do not want the fat. That is very unhealthy, okay? It's not the fat that you can see, but it's the most unhealthy fat. And so when you have less muscle mass, that's what happens. The fat accumulates in there. But it also gives us the belly fat on the outside that you can see, right? The one that most of us are like, I want to get rid of this belly pooch. I can't stand this. It won't go away. And that's, again, happening because of those dropping hormones. But again, if you eat more protein, it can help to remedy that. So, and muscle loss and bone loss go hand in hand. And when we have a bone loss, we become injured more often. We fall down, we break things. And as we get older, we do not want that happening, right? I assume many of you don't want that happening. We don't want, and if we do fall down, we want to be able to be resilient, strong, so that we can get right back up and we don't end up in the hospital. Due to the decline in estrogen, okay, because it all comes back to the hormones. And just a little quick overview, like 40s, your hormones are all about, they're doing this, but then they're going to do this in your mid 40s, and then they're going to go like this, okay? They're going to drop way down when you get into your 50s and go postmenopausal. So you go from having some, then having them crazy, and then they drop down. We need hormones. We need hormones for so many things. So when that estrogen is declining, we also become more insulin resistant. And maybe you've heard me talk about this before. This then leads to weight gain and more belly fat and an increase in type 2 diabetes. And this is why I also stress that while you need carbs, you can't have them in overconsumption. You can't be eating way too many of the processed carbs, way too many of the carbs, especially if you're not balancing that out with protein. Okay? Because that's what's going to happen. Insulin resistance, diabetes, belly fat, weight gain, all the things. So what can we do? We can combat this by just eating our protein. When we consume more protein, it slows down the absorption of carbohydrates. So like I said, you can have your carbohydrates, just not an overconsumption, but when you pair them with carbohydrates, this leads to more stable blood sugar levels, okay? Which keeps us from becoming insulin resistant. So a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, and maybe this is you, we like the carbs. So we want to have bagels and cereal for breakfast or a piece of bread and whatever on it. And lunch is a hamburger with fries and Then we want to have pasta for dinner or pizza. All these things are going to lead to weight gain. But when you balance those carbohydrates with protein, that's going to help to level those blood sugars, keep the weight off of you. Also, when you eat more protein, it makes you feel more full, which helps you from overeating later on. It helps you from overeating carbs because you're more full. It helps you to eat less sugar because you're more full. And it keeps those sugar cravings away. Give me 1 second. I want to see. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm trying something else different with my microphone. And I was like, just let me know. If you can put in the comments, can you hear me? Because I'm hopefully not just talking to myself and you're thinking I'm nuts. Okay, so I see some hellos. But okay, you can hear me? Okay, thank you. I'm like, oh my goodness. Because if my mic's not working, then I'm just talking like a crazy person. All right, so where was I? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we're eating more protein balanced with the carbs, right? To keep the blood sugar in check. We're eating more protein because it makes us more full. So that keeps us from overeating carbs, overeating sugar. Keeps the sugar cravings away. If you find that you are craving sugar and you crave a lot of carbs, it's probably because you're not eating enough protein. So by switching that up, adding more protein, those will go away. Not saying you can't have them, but it will help with them, okay? Eating more protein also preserves muscle. Again, we're back to this muscle thing, which in turn helps to balance your metabolism, which in turn leads to easier weight loss. When you eat more protein, your metabolism is happy and the weight can come off, okay? If that's another reason for you to want to eat more protein, then so be it. That's what I want you to do. We're going back to the estrogen again. So as these are decreasing, you're also going to have lots of hormonal symptoms and health concerns, right? And while protein's not going to help to replace estrogen, but it does play a crucial role in creating hormonal balance. So when you eat more protein, your hormones are more balanced. And what happens? That helps to keep your whole body feeling better. You're not going to have a lot of the hormonal symptoms. It helps to support the production of neurotransmitters that affect your mood and your sleep, right? So if you're struggling, if you're having crazy mood swings and cravings and mood swings, you can't handle things the way that you used to, eat more protein. If you're struggling with sleep, you're not sleeping really good, maybe take a look at your foods. Are you eating too many carbs and not enough protein? Add more protein. Your sleep will get better. Those are, two big things, two big hormone symptoms that I hear a lot about, the mood swings, the sugar cravings, and then the sleep. So just by adding protein, you can help those. It's going to assist in regulating insulin and blood sugar, like I talked about. And if you're someone who has gone to the doctor, because this happens as we enter menopause and postmenopause, you go to the doctor, you get your labs done, and they're like, oh, you're looking pre-diabetic. Or maybe you're close to being diabetic. That's because of those dropping hormones. Instead of having them put you on medication, you just need to eat more protein. That's going to help that. I was told I was pre-diabetic when I was going into menopause. I was like, are you friggin' kidding me? I eat so clean. I work out all the time. I do all the things. But it's because those hormones were dropping. Started bumping up my protein, started adding more muscle mass. I don't have that problem anymore. I didn't have to go on medication. I'm not pre-diabetic any longer, okay? So just something to pay attention. If you go to the doctor in these years and they tell you that you're pre-diabetic, maybe take a second look at your protein intake and your muscle mass. Eating more protein also is going to provide building blocks for enzymes involved in hormone production and metabolism. Again, balance your hormones, make your metabolism happy, help you to lose the weight. It all comes back to that. Like if you're struggling to lose weight, it goes back to eating more protein, which is a simple fix. Okay, so that explains why. Like, why do we need the protein, right? For all the things, for blood sugar, for sleep, for moods, for less cravings, for less, to help you to burn more body fat. So maybe now you're like, okay, so how much do I need? As a perimenopausal and menopausal woman, I would say a good number to start to hit every single day is 100 grams, or about 25 to 35 grams per meal, because you should be eating at least 3 meals and a snack every single day. If you want to be more accurate, you can think 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So if you want to weigh 160 pounds, you're going to want to eat about 160 grams of protein. Like I said, I can eat anywhere. I usually average, without even tracking, about 160 to 180 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein, but it doesn't seem like a lot to me because now it's normal. If you're someone who right now is only eating 30 to 40, maybe 50 grams of protein, you're not going to want to bump up to 160 because your body's going to say, what is happening? And you're going to feel so full, right? So what you want to do is slowly bump it up. Let's say you're eating 80 grams of protein. Try to add another 25 for another week, and then another 25 till you hit your goal weight, right? Something to pay attention to. Some people, if you add a lot more protein quickly, you may get a little more constipated. Just know that that's normal. But here's the thing, add more vegetables, which you need anyway, so more fiber, okay? But again, slowly add that protein up and then add more fiber alongside it. So eat those vegetables. Jennifer, I will get to that in 1 second. If you are working out and doing heavy weight training regularly 3 to 4 times a week, you may need even more than that. That's why I'm not concerned when I'm tracking my foods. If I go over in protein, I'm okay with that because I'm working out, okay? And I know it's gonna store on my body as muscle, and that's what I want. It's gonna help to maintain that muscle. So you may ask, how do I know if I'm hitting my protein? You gotta track it. Just 100%. You can't guess. You will always be wrong. You will never think that you may feel like you're eating enough protein, but you probably are not. I would say if you're going to do it, track it for an entire week to see where you're average. Then if you're low, track the next week and work on hitting that goal. Okay? And then again, over and over. And then once you get a feel of what that should feel like, what your body should feel like, then you don't have to track if you don't want to. But you just can't guess, so you must track. If you want to use one, macros first is a good one that I recommend to my clients because it breaks down all the macros itself. Okay, now the most asked question, or the biggest struggle that I find with clients that I work with, is how to get more protein into your diet. Okay, so here are some suggestions for you that you can start using today to get more protein. First, you want to start your day off with protein. So maybe it's 2 to 3 eggs, or maybe it's 2 full eggs and some egg whites. So that way you're just adding more protein without the fat, because eggs are fat and protein. Maybe it's some Greek yogurt with some protein powder. Maybe it's a protein smoothie or my hormone smoothie. Yay, of course. My hormone smoothie has 44 grams of protein in it. That's a good start to my day, right? I do 2 scoops of collagen and 1 scoop of whey protein, and that gives me 44 grams to start my day. If you want my recipe from a hormone smoothie, just message me hormone smoothie and I will get that for you. This means no more fasting in the morning. Stop fasting, stop fasting, stop fasting. You cannot eat or hit your protein goals if you're only eating 1 or 2 meals a day. You just can't, because if you tried to eat about 50 to 60 grams of protein in 1 meal, you're going to be so full, you're not going to want to eat again. And that defeats the purpose, right? Because also, not only do you need more protein, you most likely need more calories. So this means no more fasting, hit your protein, get about 25 to 35 grams of protein that first meal. That means no more cereal, no more donuts, no more bagels. They're not protein. They're only spiking your blood sugar, which leads to cravings later. Now, if you want to have 3 eggs and a half of a bagel with some peanut butter on it, great. You got your protein, you got your carbohydrates, and you got your fats. everything's balanced out. You're not eating more of one than the other. And you're not over consuming those carbohydrates. And it's going to keep your blood sugar stable, okay? That's why my hormone smoothie has all that. It has the protein, it has the fiber, it has the fats, all the things you need. You put in some fruit for starches. You can put in some gluten-free oats if you want, but you got to have the protein. Another suggestion is make sure you include protein at every single meal. So that means aim for about, like I said, 25 to 35 grams at every single meal. And that means measuring it out. You can't just guess what 25 to 35 grams are. So get a scale, measure it out. Or if you're eyeballing it, your entire hand from your fingertip, from your middle fingertip to your wrist. This much protein should be on your plate. You may need a little bit more than that, but that's a good overall, like, I'm going to guess, okay? You do that and you're going to feel amazing. I promise. When you think of snacks, it should always be protein. Because when we snack, what do we think? Oh, I'm going to have a candy bar for a snack. I'm going to have some chips for a snack. I'm going to have some crackers for a snack. That's not protein. Protein should always be first, then a fat or a carbohydrate. So think you want to have beef jerky or Greek yogurt or a protein shake, hard-boiled eggs, string cheese or cottage cheese if you can handle dairy. And then if you want some crackers with that, you can do that, right? But the protein needs to come first. Some other ways to get protein would be beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds. But keep in mind they are also carbs and fats. So they're going to bump those up as well. So if you're already consuming more carbohydrates and you're trying to bump up your protein to meet that, and you're using a lot of beans and lentils and things like that, it's going to go like this. Your carbs are still going to be higher, so we want them balanced out, okay? So you can use them in moderation, but always think of pure lean proteins first, okay? Another thing to think about is when you are putting food on your plate, what are you having for protein? I'm going to have chicken breast, okay? To add a little bit more, easily cut off a half of another chicken breast and put that on your plate. If you're having a hamburger, cut half of another hamburger, put it on your plate. Just adding a little bit more of what you are already eating is going to get you more protein, okay? It's the most simple way to do it. I like to mix my proteins. I will do like, okay, because I like different flavors. I'm going to do a chicken breast, but then I'm going to put some Italian sausage in there. And I'm going to do like half of an Italian sausage and put that in there as well. So I'm mixing two different types of protein, but I'm adding more than what I would normally eat. Okay? And for you, that should be easy. You know what you put on your plate, add just a little bit more. And then you'll have more protein. Okay? So the goal is to think protein, protein, protein always when putting together your meals. Always. First thing on your plate, first thing in your mind, first thing you put in your mouth. Okay? Same thing. When you're looking at your plate, you want to put the protein in your mouth before you put in the carbs to stabilize that blood sugar. Keep that more balanced, right? That not only is going to help you to get enough protein throughout the day, but it's going to keep your blood sugar regulated and it's going to keep the belly fat off. And that's what most of us in menopause are working towards, is getting that belly fat off. Eat your protein, build your muscle. That's what you need to do. Jennifer, I'm just going to comment on your comment. You said you quit sugar, but you're not losing much weight. The next thing to take into consideration is checking your protein. Are you eating enough? And then are you eating enough calories? Those are the two things that I find most women are doing. When they cut out sugar, that drops their calories a lot. So you need to eat more healthy foods to consume more. Because if you've been eating at a calorie deficit for a long time, you need to bump that up. Because cutting them out is not going to help. So that's something I would suggest, eating more protein and eating more calories. Just making sure it's protein and fiber and getting more calories in. So hopefully that helps. All right. If anybody has any questions about this, please ask. I'm here. I love to answer questions if you have them. That's what I'm here for. I love sharing this information. And these are all things that I do every single day. I take what I'm doing, what I do practice every single day, and I share it with you. So hopefully this is helpful. But again, eat your protein, build your muscle, burn some body fat, right? Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you so much. And if you feel that this would benefit anyone else, please tag them below or share this with them. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.